The day has not gotten any warmer. Wintry, weird, hardly wonderful. Cheers. But here in the greenhouse, there's always something to keep me busy. Now, nice piece of driftwood, nice piece of jasper, Dendrobium, nobile, keiki, and now the decision. Crash, don't break something. This is just a little bit too bright and garish. So, I think I'm going to put that one out of the way and put this keiki in here. Well, here it is. Another one of my table mounts. It's been here. Oh, is there a date on it? Yes! March, the 12th of March, 2019. So this one's doing just fine. Settling in. It did flower last year. And now that it's winter, it needs to go into a bit of a rest and dry out a little bit. So I only water it just a wee bit. Just a damp mist, not a lot. And this is just a piece of firewood that roots coming through the bottom. Okay, a little bit of firewood that I reclaimed from somebody's stack, and I thought, why not? Okay, let's see if I can remove this. Which way? Which way? Which way? Oh, it's going to run up against that speciosum. Okay. Sometimes I take a scalpel and cut just a little nick underneath it. Oh, come on. Oh, this one's hanging on. And I don't want to break anything. No, stop the video. Gonna get the scalpel. I don't think I have a knife nearby. There's a trowel. Oh, I don't think I have a scalpel nearby. No, because the last one, the blade had gone rusty. So I'm gonna stop this. See if I can pause it without having to stop the whole thing. Honey, I'm home! Well, have a look at this. That's how rusty these scalpel blades get when they're dipped in bleach. Why? Because I want to sterilize everything whenever I'm using it. Now if I can get this on without cutting myself. Come on. It's not on properly, but that's going to have to do. Okay. Now, I wasn't planning on performing surgery, but this keiki just didn't want to come off. So instead of sawing, I'm just going to wiggle it back and forth, a little bit by little bit. It'll cut in deeper, and if I keep my finger from getting in the way on the other side, and try and make a cut on at least 2, maybe 3 sides of the keiki. Did I see it just wiggle, loosen up a bit? No, not quite. Now, unfortunately, the way I'm moving it, I can't see and you can't see. Oh. All right. Fiddly, fiddly. Fiddly dee. Come on. Is it going to come off now? Almost. Taking off a bit more tissue than I prefer, but that'll have to do. Now, before I forget, as I do sometimes, we'll get the cinnamon straight away. Dab on a little bit of cinnamon. You can see how raw that spot where it's separated. Unfortunately, the cinnamon has also gotten a bit damp due to the weather, but I think it's enough to help dry it out. I'm quite pleased with the root development on this one. Lay that down a minute. Do this one before I forget that. At least being almost horizontal, the cinnamon just going to sit on there. That'll do. That'll do. All right. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. Well, a little bit gritty. Let's move you. Back over here. That's going to go back in the warm room. Get this out of the way before I trip over it. I can imagine the mess and the expletives when I kick that and break another one of my big saucers. All right, there she is. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that might be enough. Okay, now I did a little tentative juggling. I can't quite remember how. I thought it might sit. Oh, oh! Promising! Yes, 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 yes. Promising. Yep. I think this will work. All right. Few cobwebs on there. Not so sure about that. Do I want to get super glue and put super glue in there? No, I don't. Now, I've got the choice, either on the driftwood or on the rock. But actually, these things will grow on tree stumps and rocks. Now, quick loop on this. All I do is just tie it off in the granny knot, cut off the excess. Surgical scissors. They use disposable ones nowadays instead of sterilizing these things, so I managed to acquire half a dozen of these things. You beauty! Grab that, pull it through, and I've got a nice large loop. Now, I'm just going to lean this forward. Well, take it out. Pop this over the top. Get it down low enough. What have I done? Oh, that's all right. Get that knot out of the way so it doesn't look too horrible. Right. Whoops. Which way have we gone? Which way did it go? I could rip this thing apart if I'm not careful. And sphagnum moss, I'll start packing around it in a minute. But I think I'm going to go for it right now. Get down low. Right down low. And just get enough to help hold it in place. Now, rather than putting all the pressure up when I pull it out, I prefer it that way. Okay. Now, if that's going to sit, now I can get the sphagnum moss in place. Cheers and tears and beers. Well, whiskey, 1 o'clock. Now, if that's too tight, I'm going to tuck. A little bit. Little bits. Tweezers! Right. Now I'm going to tie this off. Oh, I can really see why people use super glue. Right. Because quick, it's easy, and once it's there, it's going to stay. So there are advantages and there are disadvantages. And everybody's just got to weigh up the advantages and disadvantages that suit themselves. You know, this is definitely not the only way to do it. It's just the way I happen to do it. There's a little hollow under there, so I'm going to gradually tuck in pieces, smaller bits. Yep. Yep, these Dendrobium nobiles will grow as an epiphyte and a lithophyte. Lithophyte meaning rocks, tree stumps, anything at all, but they are not a terrestrial orchid. So when people start messing around with potting mixes that have a very high proportion of fines, chances are you're going to end up with the roots rotting off, which isn't really what we want. Now, if I can tuck that under, now I missed the roots at all completely. That's not going to work so well. Nothing for the fish line to grab a hold of down here. Now while I'm working, I'm noticing that some of these roots have green tips on them. They're growing, and it's winter. So I'm not going to starve this completely and let it dry out too much, because once it starts to grow, you don't want to make it struggle too much. Now if I can get it to stay under that little bit there, and then bring this up and across and come around a couple times. So it can stay. Nope. Now that might, if I can keep the tension on it. And across there, yeah. Now, just to try and anchor that driftwood to this rock, I'm going to tuck this fish line right under the rock. Whoops! Tweezers. Clear this out so I can get it under further. I can always put the gravel back. There. That's going to help. No. Unfortunately, this bit of jasper. Oh, my nose, excuse me. Unfortunately, this bit of jasper is very, very rounded. We'll go the other direction. See if that's going to stay in place. Try and take advantage of all the little clefts in the driftwood. Yep, that'll do. Okay. It does move a bit, but I think it's going to be all right. I'm also thinking I might put a piece of nylon stocking around the base to help hold it in. Come on! And it doesn't help when your fingers start getting cold. Come on. Doesn't help at all. Come on. Now I just lost the tension. Oh. Where's the tension going to go now? Shh. Oh, it's coming up. It's riding up on the driftwood. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is not good. This is not good. So if it wants to ride up, we go under. I've got a whole string of expletives as soon as I turn this camera off. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ah, look at that mess. It's all loosened up. Bummer. Not happy, Larry? Where does this one go? Crap. Did you hear me say that? Did I say that? No. I wouldn't say anything like that. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. See the thumbnail? Putting trim work on the greenhouse over the last few days. It managed to get in the way of the hammer and the nail a couple times. Yep. Mumble, mumble under my breath. Yes. Yes, I did. Oh, it slipped away again. Slip sliding away. Slip sliding away. Oh. Is that better? Yeah. Now if I can get this crossing over, a few more of these strands to tension them, and I pull them together, each time it adds a bit more tension. Yes. Sort of like cat's cradle. Yep. Very much like playing, cat's cradle. Which I have not done in a long time. Ow! There was a word on my tip of my tongue. I think this might just do it there. One more loop. By Jove, I think he's got it. Woohoo! Clean up this gravel mess, pack it in, and I think I'll be able to call it quits. Because it's a very cool, damp, humid, rainy day, and the gravel's damp, and the sphagnum moss is damp, I really don't think I need to water this thing. And if you do, all you really want to do is give it just a little mist, just across the roots, because the Dendrobium nobile go into a rest period in the winter, even though, I don't know if you can see that, green tip, whoop, two of them, don't know, down there in the gravel. Yep, those are green tips, which is good. So this is grown from about that much during the summer over the last 5-6 months, and it's not going to have a lot of reserves for flowering, but you never know. You never know. All right, that's it. Wayne's Weird World. Cheers. Time to go wake up Gus and go feed the chooks. See you next time.